stuff kind of pitch by pitch, use some examples so you guys can get an idea about what specifically you're looking for. We want to keep it as simple as possible for you guys. Sometimes, like we talked about, for instance, the figs yesterday, working on a slider, we're going to focus on horizontal movement with that. All right, so he knows that the horizontal movement is where it should be, good or bad, what that means compared to what his pitch is doing, how to make that more consistent, and kind of make things a little bit more. What we're trying to do here is not make everyone try to throw a certain type of pitch. Everyone's hand position, arm angle is a little bit different. Obviously, Pellegrino's numbers is going to look a little bit more like a little less, or like nothing like the Sullivan's, who's more over the top and more vertical spin. So we'll discuss some of that stuff as well. The idea being that Noah's fastball is not necessarily better than Spencer's. They're two totally different things. All right, we want to maximize each pitch. We don't want to try to make Spencer like Noah and Noah like Spencer. So if we look just to go over some basics here, we'll start with the fastball, and we're looking at a basic right-handed fastball here. So this is going to give you a little bit more of like a side spin, tossing your ball. So we're looking at here. Sprint direction is the time of the clock. So this is 12 o'clock for backspin. All right, everyone sees that, right? Straight into overhead backspin. We're going to be tilted this way at 1:30 for this. All right, everyone understand that concept? So someone, again, could be a little bit more over the top or a little bit off to the side. This position's here, they're throwing it this way, it's going to come out, and it's going to spin more of this direction. All right, so what we've always known with that, the Rapsodo or any kind of technology is telling us, that person is going to get probably more arm side run and a little less straight vertical carry. Okay? So again, if someone's out there, that's not wrong, right, or indifferent. I'll show you Bryce's numbers here in a second. But that's where we're going to be, and we want the consistency of the spin direction. If we're at different spin directions all the time, the ball is going to move differently, and then it's like, oh, I want to throw this ball with the 130 spin direction, which gives me 15 inches of horizontal movement arm side, so I'm going to start outer third and let it run towards the corner of the plate. Well, if we go and we throw that at 12, it stays 12 o'clock, it doesn't run arm side, it has 6 inches of horizontal movement. Now it's right there, and the guy's going to tee off on it, all right? So that's the importance of consistency. Spin efficiency on fastballs, we do want higher. It doesn't matter if you're a 2-seam, 4-seam, whatever. Spin efficiency should still be higher. So 95 plus, and the gyro degree is related to the spin efficiency, and we'll talk more about that with sliders. But we want the spin efficiency to be very high, and the gyro degree to be very low on all fastballs. All right, that makes sense, right? With a 4-seam fastball, the higher the RPMs, the better. All right, we'll get into this, talk about 2-seamers with Spencer specifically as well. Go on to something more like a 2-seamer, where we want any type of drop to it. We want the RPMs to be a little bit lower, but for any type of fastball, Cassie's a good example. He's not here today, but he throws a 2-seam fastball that actually gets a little bit more vertical, and it's a pretty good spin rate guy even though he's throwing 2-seamers. Figs throws a 4-seamer with high efficiency and somehow it doesn't. It's almost like a little bit of sync to it. I haven't figured that out. All right, this is some anomalies we're seeing, and those pitches are working for those two guys. We're not going to change it right now. So that's, everyone kind of understand that? All right, so for a straight overhand fastball, and again, overhand could just be wrist position. I can be out here and throw directly behind the ball to get 12 o'clock, or more stereotypical, someone that's either more over the top in this direction, I think kind of almost like a Lenscomb, or someone that's coming in this direction is going to produce that more straight 12-30 spin direction. So again, we're talking about right here with it, bring a lot of true backspin here. It's going to keep the ball from sinking. Same idea with spin efficiency, high spin efficiency, low gyro, and we want the RPM to be as high as possible. All right, so someone with this, one thing we're looking at with the fastball in particular is vertical break. All right, so I'll show you, bring this one up real quick. So we're looking at a 2-seam fastball. The higher the RPMs, the better. All right, so someone with this, one thing we're looking at with the fastball in particular is vertical break. All right, so I'll show you, bring this one up real quick. So, bring this one up real quick. if we look at Noah's vertical break on his fastball, we see that he is averaging 19.1. Right, this is last. So look at bullpen the other day, I believe. Yes, this one's bullpen this week. So he's throwing 78 and in bullpen, and he's averaging 19.1 inches of vertical break. So when we look at vertical break in a fastball, think about 14 being super average. Okay, so right around that 14-inch mark is where, if that is what your eye is trained to see. So as a hitter, if I'm in here and I'm hitting and I see a fastball come in, 14 fastball, and it's at 14 inches of vertical break, that's exactly where I'm trained to hit the ball, because that is the average. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay? So if we're throwing above 14 inches of vertical break, that's going to look like it has a little rise to it. If we have something that's below 14 inches of vertical break, that's where it's going to look like a sinker or something that's going down. All right, we're talking about fastballs. Does that make sense? So think about 14 is almost like the adjusted zero, where if it's below 14, you will see C. All right, and above 14, it looks like it has light. So that's something for Noah that's obviously very important. 19 is really good, especially with him throwing a bullpen and not 100% intensity. So we're keen on his spin efficiency and trying to get the RPM as high as possible, and then consistency of spin direction. When we see with his spin direction, he's between just what we're looking at right now, 30 and 56. So pretty good consistency there. Again, there's going to be some wiggle room there. If you're at 15 one time and then 130 the next, then we're looking at submission. But if you're in kind of that 30-minute mark and you're consistent 15-30 minutes, you're basically throwing the same pitch as far as spin direction goes every time. Okay, that makes sense? So what gets tricky is if you're at like 16 inches of vertical break, it's a little bit of life, but it's not much. We want to create pitches that play to our advantage the most. The other thing about this is Noah has to be a little bit more careful about throwing down in the zone. Okay? Because if you throw the ball down and our eyes are perceived for a certain thing and it rises, right, it actually makes it easier to hit a lower pitch for him. You guys understand that concept? But that makes sense, right? I don't have to quite go down as far to get it because it actually it's not sinking as much. That vertical break is making the ball seem to stay higher than it actually is. Okay? So his margin of error will actually be a little bit up in the zone. Tyler's the same way. We elevate with those two guys. That creates much more margin for error. Because for here, I think I have to swing here to get on top of the ball or to hit it flat, and I actually have to feel like I'm swinging up here and hitting the top of the ball, which is a very hard mental adjustment to make, obviously, in the middle of the swing. And if Tyler goes out and throws in Florida League next week, those guys don't know he has a high vertical break, so they're like, oh, I really need to get on top of this guy. Now, the majors, everyone knows everyone's spin rates, everyone's tracking everything, they have an idea. But for you guys right now in college, I don't know of any college stadiums that are consistently tracking other teams' data. There might be some D1 teams that do that, but I would think it's like a Power 5 that do it. So, you need to understand where your margin of error lies for business. All right, so the low and away pitch for Tyler and Noah, not maybe the go-to miss. You see guys now like Glass now, the catcher sets up outside, he's almost in like a half crouch with the target up higher, as opposed to getting down when he's getting on one knee or getting a little like that, right? That's the reason why teams are doing it. They know, all right, well, if I miss a little bit up and a little bit more middle, that's better than missing like thigh high for those guys, because that's the pitch that those guys are going to be able to crank. Okay, well, that makes sense? Any questions? So back to the 130 spin rate, spin direction, excuse me. Alright, so this is from Bryce Hubbard the other day. So you can see his spin directions at 1 o'clock. He is getting both horizontal and vertical movement there. Both are pretty good, alright? So obviously the higher those two numbers add up to be, the more life the pitch has. If you're at 13 and 8 for a fastball, obviously not as good as being at 18 and 12. So those two numbers basically add right at 30. That's really good for a fastball. Where he's getting arm side, I think we're going to say it's arm side run, and some vertical break there. Does that give you guys a good visual? What's going on there? Okay, any questions with fastballs? Oh, let's talk about fastballs. Seamers and two seamers together. We'll see which one's the which. Alright, so for his fastball, he's at like averaging 11 inches of vertical movement. So again, vertical break. So that's going to be the sink, and that's what we want from him. When you guys face him, you got some hitters, everyone says like, wow, like that ball is noticeably moving. When he throws the good ones, he's more here, where he's at 21 inches of horizontal movement and 8 inches of vertical break. All right, this is a ball that is running in. You can see the path on it. It's running down in hard. So again, he's at 28 inches of movement. Hubbard's at 30. So they're both really good. They're just different. Okay? We don't want everyone to be the same. Like again, the Rays' big thing. If you watched the playoff games last year, they had that shot. They had lefties and righties, and every arm angle was different on righties and lefties all the way down, right? So every time they bring in a new picture, they're showing something different. Okay? So he's that way. You see the spin direction at 230 basically. So again, he's getting more of that side spin. He's throwing a one-seamer, and his RPMs are lower. He's at 1800, almost 1900, with spin efficiency of 100%. So again, fastball still 100% efficiency. And he's throwing a ball, has less RPMs. Less RPMs means that the ball will resist gravity less, basically. So that ball is going to naturally die because it's not spinning as much, it's not back spinning and keeping it up. Does that make sense? So again, really good pitch here. It's just different than what we're seeing with a normal four-seam fastball. All right. So with those two examples, we would not want those two guys. We have someone throwing from 230 and someone throwing from basically 30 or 1230 to throw the same breaking ball. That's not going to make sense, right? Like we're not going to take someone up here and try to get a bunch of horizontal movement on it. When the fastball goes like this, we want the breaking ball to go like that. So if we're looking at clock, we want 6 degrees or like 6 hours of separation. So throwing a vertical ball that breaks vertically. This has almost no horizontal movement. We want to go with the same thing with the breaking ball. We want to go with something that's 12-6 and really falling off the frame. One has that vertical break and not something that's going side to side. Got it? So that's how we kind of base some of these ideas off of, all right, you're this kind of pitcher, let's look at this breaking ball more because that's going to pair more effectively. If someone's out, Spencer's out here, his arm angle's out here, right? You guys are sunning, like he's all the way out here. Imagine him trying to get on a curveball and throw a 12-6. It's going to be like really, really hard to do it, or he's going to have to totally change something, and then obviously the hitter picks that up too. So to be most deceptive, we're working on Spencer getting something that moves more side to side, breaks like that, or a harder slider from this angle. It's going to fall because of gyro, which we'll talk about in a second, as opposed to someone like Noah and Fry, who are going straight 12-6 bangers, and we want that straight vertical. Okay? Does that give everyone an idea about what we're getting at with these numbers and why we're trying to do certain things in the pitches? So if we look then at, okay, so we'll start with sliders. Sliders and changeups are a little trickier. There can be there's a few different ways to do it. They're equally effective. So that makes it a little bit harder to say this is exactly what we're going to do. And obviously, like someone can throw like Spencer, like Shane can throw out here and get a big horizontal break. Spencer might throw a better gyro slider from that, and then it's going to have a little more downward action. All right, so again, neither one of them really wrong, but they can both throw a really good one and from the number and from the reaction of the batter, then it's a good pitch. So gyro spin is like a ball coming out of a rifle. So we are getting this type of spin. It's like you shoot a bullet, it creates spin like this, and that's how it comes out. That's how that's what gyro spin is. So you think about like little league stuff, football slider. You guys remember that? Like just throw like a football. That's a gyro slider. So the spin efficiencies would be really low, which means that gravity is going to work on this pitch, so we are going to see some drop. So you see the spin efficiency goes way down, and the gyro degree goes way up. Spin direction, a little bit more overhand movement, right? 12 to 1 or 11 to 12. Okay? So that's one way to do it. For the slider, it's more of like a negative vertical slider. This is something that where more top spin will be involved, which will take the ball down as opposed to gravity just doing it up. Does that make sense? So in theory, this can have a little bit of a sharper bite to it, but again, there's Dylan Bundy throws a gyro slider with something like 7 degrees of spin efficiency, and he has a really good slider. So not necessarily one's right or wrong. Spin direction is a little bit different, and spin efficiency is going to increase because of that, of the top spin coming into play. Curveball is a little bit more straightforward. Straight 12-6. Again, back to Fry and Noah, really good examples here. JB, same thing. Spin direction 530, 630. So we're saying that window of being right over the top. Higher spin efficiency here. On this one, the higher. Most of the time, the higher the better. There's a little bit of an exception to that. Again, if you're a little bit more towards 530, spin efficiency might just be a little bit lower because of your arm angle. But the idea is that you're getting on top, and you're creating as much top spin as possible, and that creates that sharp bite. Again, you guys have seen pictures where the ball loops out of their hands and it's slow, and then you've seen 12-6 guys throw more 12-6, and it comes in and it drops off the table. All right, so that's the difference there. Again, there's nothing wrong with the ball popping out of your hand. Kershaw's ball's popped out of Kershaw's hand for 13, 14 years now, and he's been one of the best pitchers in the big league. So again, it just depends on what type of pitch you're trying to throw. More of a slurve action, you're going a little bit more off the side, so 730 or 430, depending on right-handed and left-handed. Again, as we get a little bit lower, probably not going to be able to get quite on top of the ball. It's going to be a little bit more side spin, so we're going to the spin efficiency is going to drop a little bit, and the gyro degree is going to be a little bit higher. These are not set in stone numbers. If someone's right here, it'll be a little bit different than if someone's out here versus someone, just in everyone's little of how your wrist naturally moves and how it is when you throw a baseball. Change-ups, again, large variety in these. This one's kind of all over the board, so I'm not even going to really stick to those numbers. It's a lot like the sinker. Okay, we want less RPMs. That's the big one. So we're keeping this simple. Less RPMs on a changeup is good. Spin efficiency can really be all over the board. There's some guys in here that throw it 100% or 95%, and it's a good pitch. Okay. There are some people that throw a little bit more, where it comes out and it has a little bit more of that gyro spin to it, and it falls because of that, and it's a good pitch. Okay. So what you guys focus on is vertical break is huge for this one. If we get the vertical break around 8 or lower, that's going to be a pitch that has a lot of depth to it. If you're really good, it's at like 5. Okay. That's what you need to look at there. If you're throwing it and we want to create as much separation from your fastball, if we're throwing a changeup and your changeup's at 14 vertical break and your fastball's at 16, we're throwing a really bad fastball in that particular instance. Okay? So that's where I'm trying to simplify to you guys to say, all right, it doesn't matter if you're throwing a circle changeup, but they also had one that was a 3-finger changeup. It doesn't matter what you're doing with that. The RPMs be a little bit lower, 12 to 1800, depending on who you are, and what the ball does. Efficiency all over the place. We need that vertical break. All right, we need it to look like your fastball. Not necessarily spin, but just how you throw it. The same arm speed, the same body motion. Alright, does anyone have any specific questions about their numbers and where they are with everything? what they're doing or anything like that right now. Does that give you guys a good idea or answer a lot of the overarching questions that you may have had about the numbers that you're seeing? Okay. The other thing is just with horizontal brakes, negative horizontal brake is braking right to left. So if I'm righty and I throw a slider and it brakes like this, it's going to have negative horizontal brake. If I'm a lefty and I throw a two-seamer and it brakes like this, it's going to have negative horizontal brake. Okay? So if you like lefties fastballs on negatives and righty sliders on negatives. Okay? And then flipped around. If I'm a right-hander and I'm throwing a two-seamer, it's going to have positive horizontal brake. If you're lefty throwing a slider brake ball, it's going to have positive horizontal brake. So don't let that confuse you based off righties, lefties, especially lefties. I show right-handed examples about, why is mine going in the wrong direction or something like that. It's not that. The vertical is the same for both sides. The other good thing to look at when you're checking out your own stats is this horizontal vertical brake chart up in the corner. Okay? So we want, again, you can see where those fastballs are. They're in the top right hand corner, they're close to the y-axis. You guys know y and x-axis, if you go to this, like take care, you understand that concept. Alright? He is close every time, so not much horizontal brake and a lot of vertical. His curve balls are down at the lowest point, and they are at, they're almost mirroring the fastball, right? That's good. Again, that's where we're working on that 6-hour idea of if it's on 1 o'clock, we want it at 7, if it's at 3, we want it at 8, that sort of idea. Okay? And he has some sliders in there. It's different than the other ones. The change-ups are right along the line there as well. I guess that's a change-up or a really bad slider one too. And they're different pitches and they're not overlapping. So if he was trying to throw a lot of pitches, they're all clumped together in the middle. Think about like from 10 to 10 to 10 to 10, a little square. That's not good because that means everything's similar enough. If someone has a good swing and gets a good bat path, it's probably going to make hard contact with it somewhere along the line. Okay? So again, if we go. Go to Shane's, you see that fastballs a lot lower than what you saw on those, a lot further to the right. The sliders a lot lower, less vertical, further to the left, and then the ones down here at the bottom, he was trying to work on a slurve. That's what those numbers in the bottom left-hand corner are there. So you can see how he's trying to create a pitch that is in the 6-degree motion and getting more vertical than the slider gets, so it's the same look but a different break to give him a different. Alright, so that's a really good tool to look at when after you're done throwing for the day, and that uploads everything, you look at your stats, to say where are my pitches in the chart, and that'll give you a good visual about what you're doing and how stuff's working. Other big thing, man, old school way, talk to the hitters. Always go up to the hitters after you start that you face and say, what did you see? And you guys should be able to learn some of this. And if you're throwing a fastball, and you're sitting at 8485, and guys are swinging this, and your vertical brake is around 20, they're not catching it. Like, they can't figure out how to get on top of your fastball. Keep throwing it. If you feel like you're throwing a really good slider, and guys are constantly getting either a barrel on it, or staying back on it, or you're not getting any swing and miss from it, talk to them. Hey man, what's the deal? Why is that not a swing and miss pitch? Okay? Feedback from them is also very valuable. The idea is to match that up with what we're seeing on the numbers, and then you have a really good picture about what's going on. Some of it might be like, hey, your numbers are great, awesome. When you throw a curveball, I see your hand do that, so I know it's something. Rapsodo doesn't tell you that, right? Somebody might be able to, Noah might be able to tell you that hitch. Okay? Or you really slow down. I see your body slow down when you throw a chain jump. Where you're getting 8 inches of vertical break on that, and it's running 17 inches. It's a really good pitch. Everything matches up. But those guys are doing this and then exploding on it every time because they see your body. Okay? Those types of things still need to be talked about with the hitters, and that way you get the feedback of what they're doing as well too. Okay? And what they're seeing, what they're doing. Any questions? Yes,
for a vertical break on fastballs, what's like the extreme ends for like drop and like comparing?
Okay, so if 14 is
that's
the middle ground, then obviously like this, we want to get further away from that. And it also depends on the horizontal. Like you go back to Bryce's numbers where it's like 17 and was it 13? Like he's getting a lot of run, so that plays up a lot better than just a 17-inch break with 6-inch horizontal. So some of that. And that's where the further away the better. Okay? So for fastball, if we're like 18 vertical break, that's good. And if you're at like 10 vertical break, so 4 inches either way is kind of a safe zone. But there are guys in there, like I said, that are deceptive for different reasons or have a lot of horizontal run, where those guys don't, and it plays really well. It's just the idea is to get a little further away from there, or understand how to shape your other pitches around that fastball. So if you're throwing 90 and you're absolutely painting, and you have 14 inches of vertical break, and you have 2 good off-speed pitches, right now not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have results. That's a lot better than not knowing where the ball's going and throwing 90 and having 18 inches of vertical break. So there's always still some give and take with some of the number stuff, but yeah, I mean, the idea is to stay further away. If someone, to further answer your question, if someone is between 12 and 16, then I would probably look at doing something different to get them like that. If they're consistently above 16 and consistently below 12, then it's probably making something more special. Alright, anything else? Okay, so as you guys look over your numbers and stuff, you should have access to it. If you don't, I know Austin, you have a problem, let me know. I want you guys to do some of the stuff on your own. Bauer, a bunch of people have a lot of resources out there. They probably know more than I do. Spend some time doing that. I'm happy to talk anytime, but I want you guys to understand that you can look at a pitch after, if you throw a pitch, you should go, you know what, I think my wrist was beside that curveball. Didn't look like it had the vertical break. You wait till it loads. All right, yes, the vertical break was 13 on that, and the gyro was really high. That confirms what I thought. Now I need to make sure when I throw the next one, I get on top of it. All right? That's how you guys should be using this. And that's why we're using it. And that's why we have it up while you guys are pitching. It's not just to collect data, it's to double check yourself and to match real versus field to be able to make real-time adjustments. So now you get to the ball, you throw a breaking ball, it goes more horizontal, the guy takes it, doesn't swing at it, doesn't have any bite. All right, I know that's what this looks like on the Rapsodo to me. I know that means I do this. I know that when I fix it, I got that vertical break. Here's my swing and miss banger, and then you strike it back. Okay? That's the idea. So keep looking at it. The more you know yourself with your own numbers and what your own good pitches look like, then the better it's going to be. We had Cassidy and Diggs both working on a slider yesterday. Cassidy's is more of a vertical slider. Diggs is more horizontal. Same pitch, 2 different guys. Both kind of figured out what worked best for them. Okay? So that's what we need to look at. All right? Cool.